I'm here today speaking with Hanshi Stephen Kaufman, world-renowned author, educator, and distinguished martial arts grandmaster. With over 50 years' experience in his chosen discipline, Hanshi Kaufman has accomplished a tremendous amount of understanding for the way things in the world can be and ought to be made readily accessible to each and everyone who concerns themselves with personal development, business excellence, and living with joy and freedom. Hanshi Kaufman, thank you so much for being here with us today. It's wonderful to speak to you. Let me just start right off the bat by asking you, what exactly is a Hanshi?
I've been trying to figure that out myself.
Oh, really?
Okay. A Hanshi is the highest rank attainable in the martial arts. It's a title of honor. Essentially, you don't decide to be a Hanshi like so many people are doing nowadays. A Hanshi comes with tremendous responsibility. First of all, there are basic requirements. You have to be 35 years or more in the art, however you define the art. You have to be over 50 years of age, which means you have some sort of sensibility. And you have to do something relevant to the arts themselves. Not opening a school and turning out black belts. Not going around breaking boards and things like that. You have to do something essentially vital that's going to develop the art itself. For example, what I did, my particular version of Musashi's Book of Five Rings is definitive interpretations of Sun Tzu's Art of War. This gives me the credibility to maintain myself as a Hanshi, which essentially in medieval times was like a five-star general, a Supreme Court judge, and the local bad guy don't mess around.
Okay. How did you first get involved with karate and Iaido?
Iaido is the way of the sword. It's a meditation form more than it's an actual combat form at this point.
And how did you get
involved? I got involved with karate when I was in the Air Force in Okinawa in the 50s. Had no idea what it was, except that, hey, this is good to know. You get into a fight in a bar, you know some karate, you're in good shape. I had some idea of the martial arts because of when I was a kid, the guys coming back from World War II would teach all the punks on the block. I wasn't. I got a little jiu-jitsu and how to handle themselves and things like that. But when I found out about karate, I figured it was a good thing to know, kick, punch, break a board, impress women, this kind of a thing. As I developed it and as I stayed with it, I said, whoa, wait a minute, man, this really got nothing to do with like fighting.
So you founded your own dojo, Dojo no Hebi-ru? Dojo no
Hebi,
Hebi-ru,
yeah.
It's
a Ru, yeah, Ru is a school, Do is a way. So a Hebi Do is the way of the snake, Hebi-ru is the school of the snake.
And then why is it considered to be one of the most formidable methods of martial arts training?
It's considered one of the most formidable methods of martial arts training because I don't teach martial arts. I teach martialism, which is a whole different mentality. I don't teach Karate 101. I train warriors. And coming along with that is personal excellence that I demand from you as a student. I demand excellence from myself, which means I constantly practice and seek to know more and more and more instead of just like lining them up outside, signing them up on contracts. So it's a way of life. It's not just a, hey, I'm going to go take my karate lessons. Formidable means that I don't want to just give you a black belt and say, hey, you're a black belt. You have to be a black belt, not wear a black belt. And that's a whole different approach to it. And everybody talks this story, and very, very few people understand it because they don't devote their lives to it. If I took advantage of my commercial success with my books, I would be a very, very rich man. All right? I'm not looking for that because I understand things from a whole different perspective. All right? At the same time, I'm not going to take a vow of poverty. So I'm going to do what I have to do to escalate the art form itself to the next level of its evolution, and that's incumbent upon me to do that. And if you want to study with me, then I pass it to you, and you know at the jump that it is your responsibility once I acknowledge you and you acknowledge yourself to take it to the next level. It's your job to take it to the next level. I don't like the word job, but that's what we're talking about.
Wonderful. How would you then go about determining who will be a student of yours?
I'll go through the same process that essentially we're going through right here. I'm going to talk to you. I want to know, what are you about? Where are you coming from? What are you looking for? What do you want? Well, I want to develop my spiritual self to become closer to God. I say, oh, take it down a block. Okay, that's not what this is about. All right? Well, I want to be a highly spiritual person. Take that down a block. That's not what this is about. Okay, I want to learn self-defense, so if anybody messes with me, I can kill him. Okay? Well, you know, you have to like find out what are your real motives. And then again, the responsibility of the sensei, because it's not a, shall we say, a thing that like everybody should do martial arts, everybody should do karate. It is not for everybody. Yeah, self-defense is okay, that's cool. All right? To develop yourself as an individual to a high level of consciousness is not for the weak-minded. All right? And I really put my foot down when it comes to that.
What is it that you believe it was so important about your particular interpretation of Musashi's Book of Rings that is giving you this worldwide success?
That's a very good question, all right? And I'll answer very straight ahead. The reason my version of Musashi's Book of Five Rings is world recognized as the definitive interpretation is because it's straight ahead, it's based on life experience, it's based on contemporary practicing techniques, developing the art, and talking to you straight ahead. What do you want? What do you want? You want to use this, you want to use that, where you want? You want to be a butcher? You want to be a candlestick maker? Doesn't matter. A lot of people confuse the Book of Five Rings with being a business manual, which the Japanese had used. You're going to study business in a big corporation, you're going to read Musashi's Book of Five Rings. Man. No, it's a very straight ahead book that tells you, you want this, this is how you get it. If you don't do this, you're not going to get it. What is difficult to understand here? And because it's so straight ahead, it just keeps selling and selling and selling. I mean, it's very difficult for me to pitch my own work. All right? But guess what I read periodically? I read the Book of Five, my version, by the way. Okay. I read it and I say, oh my God, did I really write that? Well, what did I mean? Now, how can I take that and make it easier for you to understand? So the next version comes out, the next version, and it just develops and grows. And it's kept small because once a book starts becoming a tome, okay, a real thing, the author is not really focused and is not really in line with what the subject matter is. See, so I always tell students, I say, hey, what do you want? Tell me in 25 words or less. Same thing when I was a kid, you took a box top off a box of cereal. Tell us in 25 words or less why you want to ride through the Southwest with the Lone Ranger, you know, kind of a thing. Well, I want to, no. So, boom, everything is very direct and short. And a lot of people have difficulty with that because they cannot come to terms with the tragedy of their own inconsequence. Okay? That's philosophical. We'll go somewhere else with that. Go ahead.
Speaking of philosophy, though,
yes.
You do consider your life's work to be these wonderful books you've written, your own philosophy, etc. Two of those books, which I have sitting here, are the Self-revealization, Acceptance, which is subtitled Your Divine Right to Live in Joy and Freedom.
Yes.
And also Sword in the Boardroom, which taps onto what we were saying before about a business aspect. That is subtitled Winning for the Benefit of All Concerned. Please tell us about that.
Okay, self-revealization acceptance is something that was actually revealed to me, all right? And I was always, studying the spiritual things, the religious things, and I kept going over and over. And they're telling me to get from here to get to heaven, you got to do this, that, and the other thing. Okay, I'll buy it. But you're not telling me how. Self-revealization, SRA, is the actual mechanism that puts you in touch with what I call the spirit of the thing itself. The spirit of the thing itself is so named according to your desire. And this gets very, very intense at this point because you are responsible for you. And you have to learn to let go of certain things, okay? The same thing like with positive thinking. Well, yeah, positive thinking. You could be thinking a negative thought positively, all right? You know, like one of these, fantasies of what goes around comes around, sometimes, all right? Affirmations, you're affirming a truth based on someone else's information for you. SRA, self-revealization acceptance is you accept yourself as the divine entity and you live your life in joy and freedom. If you're not going to do that, you're living it for me, you're living it for him, you're living it for her. And so you have to learn to define your own universe and come to terms with the fact, and here we go, you are the center of the universe. How do I know that? Because I am the center of the universe, and without me, the universe does not exist. Without you, the universe does not exist. So this gets very, very heavy, all right? But it's very simple. It's very straight ahead. And when you look at it, you say, oh, really? So why do they make it so difficult? Because they don't want you to know. All right? So I've spent my entire life developing to this point, and obviously I'm past 35, so I kind of have a handle on where things are at in reality, you know? The other thing is I took the teachings of Musashi's Book of Five Rings and Sun Tzu's Art of War with my own commentary and created, I say I created, although the information was pumped through me, through the creative aspect of the universe to do this, okay? You don't invent anything. You accept things because everything's been done already. There's nothing new happening. You heard there's nothing new under the sun. That's a truism, okay? Taking the teachings of Musashi's Book of Five Rings and taking the teachings of Sun Tzu's Art of War with my own commentary, I came out with Sword in the Boardroom. And the basic, simple lesson, you win. That's the whole idea, to do anything, but you must do it for the benefit of all concerned. If you don't, somebody's going to feel screwed, and they're going to figure out a way to get you. This is not like this win-win nonsense, which doesn't work. That's a Madison Avenue nonsense thing, okay? How can two people win a situation? It doesn't work. Who's in charge? Somebody's got to start the situation. Yeah, it looks good on paper, okay? But you talk to the heavies, okay? I'm talking about the big business guys. No, you win. No, you know what? You did win. Good for you. Get it done. Yeah, right, okay, this kind of a thing. So somebody's got to be in charge. So winning for the benefit of all concerned is something that should be vitally approached by all of the governments, all of the major corporations. Somebody is working for me. There's not enough that I can do to enhance that person's life. And that's a purely selfish thing, because the more I do for you, guess what you're going to do? Whatever you can do to make me happy. Is that correct? Because the more you do, I give you more. Boom, boom, boom. And it just keeps going and going and growing. And that's what the creative aspect of the universe is. It's not competition. It's creativity. Okay, so when I set up my seminars with corporations, first thing I do is I go in the same way I'm talking to you. Hey, let's go have a beer. Let's go find out who, what, where, when, and why. All right? What do you want? You want to get your company to the next level. You're having particular issues. Let's find out why, not your company, but you are having the issues. Oh, well, no, well, it's them. They don't do their job. No. It's management, man. It's from the top down. It's not from the bottom up. You know, like certain elected officials seem to think it's supposed to go that way, all right? It doesn't work that way. So I'll structure my seminar for your particular needs. And I know what has to be done. You know what has to be done, but you can't get it going for whatever particular reason, so you call me in. I'm not a motivational speaker. I don't go in there and say, hey, boys and girls, save up your money, and if you really do your job and save your commissions, you can have a Cadillac. What? What do you get? What? Do you need a Cadillac? That's not the issue, okay? The point is, you do everything you can do to make you look good. And that's a purely selfish thing. Because the more you do to make you look good, it'll make me look good. I'm not a fool. You're taking care of me, there's not enough I can do for you. And the same thing goes in a personal relationship. Okay, that's why everybody's running around. He won't do this, she won't do that. How about the both of you do the same thing? You know? And get rid of your egos by appreciating your ego and not giving your ego a false concept. Again, very few people can come to terms with the tragedy of their own inconsequence, and very few people can come together with the attitude of the tragedy of their own insignificance. Whoa, yeah, you bet. What makes you think that you're the queen of the world? Me. What makes me think that I'm the king of the world? Me. And the same thing has to go back and forth, okay? And that wasn't the mistaken words. It is me. It's all me. And because it's all me, I have no problem acknowledging you. Bada bing. That's a Brooklyn thing. Bada bing. Okay? All right? So the same thing like when I'm doing karate. I don't have to break 32 boards. But I have to know what's involved with doing that so that I can put myself into there and develop my techniques. So the martial mentality covers every aspect of living. Okay? You know, you get into the spiritual thing. Am I raving over here? That's okay. That's where it's at, man, okay? The whole thing you have to understand is everybody talks about yin and yang, good and bad, evil, right. There is no such thing as yin and yang. I'm telling you, and I know I'm a master. Okay? How do I know? Because I know. There is no such thing as yin and yang, which is not to suggest that yin and yang do not exist. Big difference. Okay, what else you want to know about anything?
Briefly touch on what projects you have coming up for the future.
Okay, we have 5 books that we want to get out. Okay, they're already done, they're ready to go. It costs a lot of money to get a book out there and to get the distribution as well. Okay, we're working on training videos. We're working on a lot of seminars and things like that, you know, speaking engagements. You can follow by going to Hanshi, HANSHI.com. It'll tell you everything that's going on. The books that we're talking about is one called Zen Fairy Tales. Zen Fairy Tales is a book of morality fables, but not biased morality. It's like what's right for you kind of a thing, morality, which puts it in a different place. We're coming up with the second book in the Hanshi David Mann adventure series. The first one was the Hanshi at Central Park. It's an astonishing reception that it's been getting. Now we're ready to release the Hanshi in Brussels. Then we go to Hanshi in China, the Hanshi in Miami, the Hanshi back in New York, the Hanshi in Newport, the Hanshi, the Hanshi, hey mama, here I come, you know, that kind of thing. Okay. We've got the life force energy healing, self-revealization, acceptance, physical exercises to do that. These are also going to be videos, and we're going to be traveling all over the world, and we're looking to get some movies done as well. You know, so there's a lot of things happening. Why did I wait this long? Because, boom, you got it, man.
Hanshi, thank you so much.
Thank you, thank you. It's a delight, and I had no problem talking to you because you are absolutely beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
Okay.
You're so sweet.
I know. I got it. Okay. Gotcha.